Welcome to this webinar. My name is Stephanie and today's topic is about meeting job role requirements. This unit describes the performance, outcomes, skills and knowledge required to work effectively in an aged care work context. This unit covers meeting job requirements, complying with organisational requirements and working in an aged care sector. This unit applies to individuals who work with older people in a range of community services and health contexts. Work performed requires some discretion and judgment and is carried out under regular, direct, indirect, or remote supervision. The skills in this unit must be applied in accordance with Commonwealth and state territory legislation, Australian standards and industry codes of practice. The session objective for today is meeting job role requirements. Aged care services provide daily living assistance and support to older people. These services include physical support and emotional support. Australia offers several options for aged care services. The Commonwealth Home Support Program, CHSP, they give minor support services for older people who are still living independently. Home Care Packages Program, Home Care, they give increasing levels of support to older people who want to keep living at home as much as possible. Residential aged care, these are services for older people who stay in residential facilities. Residential facilities are for people who can no longer stay at home independently. They can stay here on a temporary or permanent basis. Flexible care, these are different services for people in special situations. Mainstream aged care, this includes both types of residential care, permanent and respite, as well as home care. The term older people refers to Australians aged 65 and above, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders from 50 to 64 years of age. As of 2020, they make up around 16% of Australia's population. Their numbers have grown by a lot in the last few decades and may increase even faster in the coming years. The quick increase in the aged population is due to the following. People are living longer because of better quality of life, and fewer people have children. Aside from older people, other terms related to aged care include the following. Activities of daily living, things performed in a day-to-day life, such as eating, bathing, and using the toilet. Personal care, services that help people with their activities of daily living. Admission, when someone enters aged care services. Discharge reason for exit from aged care services. Exit of discharge, when someone leaves aged care services. Primary care services, another term used for healthcare. Provider, any organisation that provides aged care services. Specialist, a doctor trained in a specific area of medicine. As an aged care worker, you will help provide aged care services to older people. In order to help provide aged care services to older people, you must support them in their daily activities, provide social and emotional support, have a goal to help them live their best lives, learn the legal and professional standards to follow to do these things, and know the major issues older people face and how you can address them. Meeting job role requirements. Working with people comes with a lot of requirements. These requirements help ensure the safety and dignity of people in aged care. To provide the best care for older people, you should examine your attitude towards them. Identify if there are any negative stereotypes about them that you still believe. A stereotype is a preconceived notion or image that many people have over a particular sort of person or thing. However, this is frequently untrue in reality. Below are some negative attitudes and stereotypes about older people. Paternalism. This means taking away an older person's control over their own lives. It is when an aged care worker makes all the decisions related to the older person's care and daily life. Ageism. This means discriminating against a person based on their age. Common reasons include the belief that older people are slower workers and will need more days off due to medical reasons. Stigma. This means shame attached to a person because of their characteristic. Aging is often seen as a negative thing by younger people. There are also a lot of misconceptions about older people, including older people are set in their ways. This means they will refuse to change their beliefs or habits. Older people are less tolerant of people of different races or sexual orientation. Older people are lonely. Older people are unhealthy. Older people lose their desire to live. Older people contribute little to society. Values judgment identifies something as wrong or good based on your own standards. Perceived quality of life refers to how good or satisfying you think your life is. Society tends to judge characteristics associated with aging as negative. This can affect how people view their quality of life. Identifying negative attitudes and stereotypes will help you fight against them. If you can recognize some of those beliefs in yourself, you can change them. Having a more positive outlook on aging motivates and empowers the people in your care. The initial stage in working effectively in care is through meeting job role requirements. For you to do that, you must identify your job role requirements, discuss the job role requirements with your supervisor, recognize and refer tasks outside your own scope. So identifying job role requirements, your role as an aged care worker focuses on assisting older people. It is essential to understand what you should do to perform your role properly. If you do not know how the limitation of your role, you may overstep your boundaries. Make sure to read and understand the details of the role when you are applying for a job in aged care. There are different roles in aged care work, and each role comes with various tasks. Different employers may also have varying job descriptions for each position. There are several jobs in the aged care sector. These can range from entry-level support workers to trained medical workers. You should understand what is expected of you in each role. So the following are some of the roles in aged care. Home care worker. They visit homes of some older people during the day to check up on them and help with house chores. Visit older people a few times a week to help them with errands such as grocery shopping. Stay in the older person's home to provide full-time assistance if they have severe needs. Residential care worker, they provide care for older people in residential facilities, facilitate group activities for older people to help them socialise and exercise, help keep family members updated on the condition of their loved ones. Community support worker, they handle social or educational programs where older people can participate, provide leisure or recreation activities appropriate for older people, promote healthy activities for older people to increase well-being. A nursing support worker, observe health and behavioural changes in older people and maintain their medical records. They assist registered nurses in providing basic medical procedures, such as checking blood pressure, checking blood sugar levels, assisting registered nurses in providing basic medical procedures, such as taking oxygen and temperature readings, and administer first aid when needed. Registered nurses provide clinical care for older people. They train and manage nursing support workers. They administer medicine and provide end-of-life care. Higher level jobs with this sector include case manager. They organise the details of the services received by the older person. The residential facility manager oversees the day-to-day operations of a residential care facility. Home care coordinator oversees the day-to-day operations of home care services. Scope of practice. Your scope of practice is the limitation of your role based on your position and training. In order for you to know your scope of practice, you must look at your job description in your employee handbook, check your company's policies regarding your role. Going beyond your scope of practice can lead to negative consequences that may cause harm to an older person if you do something outside of your work role or training. Referrals are job tasks that another aged care worker has assigned to you. These tasks may be outside of their job role, but within yours. You must understand the tasks that someone refers to you. This ensures that you do your job and perform the task well. To make sure you understand a job referral, you must check if the task falls within the scope of your job role, confirm the task with the aged care worker who referred it to you, confirm the task with your supervisor, and read the person's individualised plan to undertake the task better. Discuss job requirements with your supervisor. You must discuss your work role with your supervisor. The importance of discussing your role with your supervisor is to ensure that you agree on your responsibilities, and it is an opportunity to ask your supervisor for any questions and clarifications you might have. If you do not confirm the scope of your role, you cannot confirm if your interpretation is correct. Never make assumptions about responsibilities that you are not qualified to perform. Your supervisor will likely describe your responsibilities in detail. This should include your work hours, job responsibilities, expectations. It is also vital that you discuss what you expect from your role to clarify what you hope to get from your job. This graphic summarizes the process of understanding and confirming your job role. Read your job description, understand your responsibilities, and discuss your responsibilities with your supervisor. Clarifying and confirming your job role. There are some questions you should ask when discussing your job role with your supervisor. These questions will help you understand exactly how you should do your job. To ensure understanding of your job role, know the answer to these questions. What is my job title? What are the qualifications for this job? What will a typical workday look like for me? And who are my immediate supervisors? To ensure understanding of your job responsibilities, you should know the answer to these questions. What are my main responsibilities? What are other responsibilities my supervisor might assign to me? What other tasks am I qualified to perform? What tasks am I not allowed to perform? And if there is a need for these tasks, to whom do I refer them? Clarifying and confirming your job expectations. You should also know your job expectations. This means you should clarify what people in your workplace expect from you. You should also know how to meet those expectations. To ensure understanding of your expectations, know the answer to these questions. What does my supervisor expect from me? What do the older people in my care expect from me? What do my colleagues expect from me? What criteria measures whether I meet those expectations? What happens if these expectations are not met? You must confirm what you expect from your job role with your supervisor. These could include expectations about work hours, safety, and salary details. You and your supervisor need to discuss these things to ensure a good working relationship. To ensure what you have made your expectations clear, discuss what support do I expect from my supervisor, what do I expect from my colleagues, and to whom can I ask for help if my expectations are not met. Identify and refer top work tasks outside own job role. You must get to know the roles of the people you work with. Knowing the general functions of your co-workers will help you identify who oversees which task, refer to a specific person from your organisation, a task outside of your scope of practice. Not knowing other people's roles will make it hard for you to refer tasks to the correct person. Delegation requirements by health professionals. Health professionals in aged care are university-trained practitioners who work as part of an aged care team. They help the older person to recover following an illness or injury. They also assist in managing the older person's chronic conditions. Delegation means transferring the responsibility of a task to a specific person. In aged care, the head of the care team assigns aspects of a customer care to appropriate personnel. The state of Victoria has released guidelines for this purpose. Delegation and supervision guidelines for Victorian nurses and midwives. It covers the nurses working in aged care. Other states and territories follow their own similar guidelines. The following guidelines list the responsibilities for delegating. Training the worker to ensure they qualify for the task, providing an assessment to test their competence, providing support and supervision, ensuring understanding and willingness of new responsibilities, and evaluating the worker's performance in their role. Seeking training and supervision, informing supervisors if they cannot perform a task for a valid reason, understanding the scope and limitation of the delegated task, performing delegated tasks to the best of their abilities, and cooperating in evaluation sessions. These are various tasks that a health professional delegates to an aged care worker. One would be responsible for the delivery of the support plans and elements. Aged care workers would also be required to participate in appropriate professional development activities. A delegation also applies when a nurse assigns a task to nurse support workers. Things to remember include the person who delegates the task is still responsible for it. Not performing the task will still fall on the person in charge. A proper delegation will ensure that the person will perform the task correctly. The table below provides sample delegation requirements that various health professionals may assign to you. So a geriatric nurse might delegate the assisting of an older person in overcoming mobility issues in daily activities. Support practices assist them in carrying out mobility exercises. An orthopedic nurse may ask you to monitor the effects of pain medications to an older person. The support practices are asking the person about what they are feeling after taking their medication. Do this as often as necessary. A dietitian may ask you to collect information about the person's health and diet. This practice asks the person's family or carer for their medical background, as well as what they usually eat and drink. A clinical psychologist may delegate you to assist the older person in psychotherapy. The support practices include starting simple conversations or stories with the person to help them share what they are feeling. Supervision requirements by head professionals. Supervision means watching a group of people to ensure that they are doing their work. It involves keeping track of work performance, helping correct mistakes, and guaranteeing that everyone in the team is doing their job. There are two types of observation, direct and indirect. The graphic below briefly explains the difference between the two. Direct supervisor is present and directly watching. The supervisor personally guides the person being supervised. Indirect, the supervisor is easily reachable but not directly watching. This table provides sample supervision requirements that various health professionals may assign to you. So the geriatric nurse, she wants you to ensure that the worker develops a positive and caring relationship with the person they are supporting, using encouragement to boost a person's self-esteem and make them feel capable. The orthopedic nurse ensures that the person is closely monitored after taking pain medications and regularly check the person's vital signs after they take pain medication. The dietitian wants you to ensure informed consent is given before asking for the person's medical background from their family or carer. The support practices include asking for the person's consent to collect information regarding their medical background. The clinical psychologist wants you to ensure that the standards for providing psychotherapy are being observed. Follow codes of practice for delivering psychotherapy support services. Reporting lines and delegation. Reporting line refers to the structure of an organisation. It is also known as an organisational chart. Importance of knowing your organisational chart. It tells you to whom you will report within your workplace. It helps you to identify to whom to refer a task. It helps you identify who is supposed to supervise you. Below is a simplified example of a reporting line for an aged care provider. It starts at the top with the board of directors, chief operating officer, who looks after the residential care manager, home care manager. Under them are the medical staff, support staff, and the chief executive officer looks after the marketing and communications and administration staff. In this chart, you can see to whom each role reports. Under the bottom row, there are still different hierarchies, such as the following. Head of medical staff looks after the registered nurse and the nurse assistants. Head of support staff looks after the support workers and volunteers. Organisational reporting, policies and procedures. Reporting lines differ between organisations. Procedures also vary depending on where you work. It will be best to learn the reporting policies and procedures in your job. Typically, reporting policies and procedures would include how to identify the limits of your role, to whom you should refer a task outside your role, and steps in referring a task outside of your role. Steps in confirming that task outside your role has been referred correctly. In this part of the session, we have covered meeting job requirements. In the next section, we will be learning about working within organisational requirements. From here, you need to go to your tutor's online learning portal and complete the assessment activities. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you found the session beneficial.